One of the things that I really like about us, and we literally just copy this from Scott Galloway's a big one. I know you and I haven't talked about him that much, but he's super open about the amount of money he makes, the amount of taxes he pays, and how he got there. And I love his line. He's like, we don't talk enough about money. How do you get better at basketball? You talk about basketball. How do you get better at anything? About playing the piano, about being a business owner, you talk about it. But for some reason, money is taboo. So we like to be super open about it. Hormozy is, Gary Vee is, a lot of these guys that we try to emulate are open about exactly what's going on. So how did we build a multi-seven-figure business today in 2025, which is huge. I've never said those words before about any business before this. So let's talk a bit about it. A few things that come to mind to me are we have a high ticket service, right? And it's recurring revenue. So when I was in the gym business, that was recurring revenue to a degree, but it was shorter sales cycle. So you could be with me for 12 weeks. That wouldn't be bad. A year-long personal training programs were rare. I had a few, but it wasn't common. So a few months. So the churn rate, which is loss of business or clients not renewing or coming back, was fairly high, especially if they have a small goal. Like, I want to lose 5 pounds. You get them to lose 5 pounds. And if you did a great job, they should be able to continue that training without you. I think that's ultimately the goal of a personal trainer, is to make your client good enough so that they don't become codependent on you. So the nature of the business wasn't great for long-term sustainability. HVAC, there was, $20,000, $30,000 paychecks in a month and then nothing the next month. So customer service wasn't a priority because you needed so much new revenue constantly. And we talked about previously about the worst advice, always be closing. Every time you go to somebody, you're making a sale, you're walking away with $1 somehow. I think, again, it goes to the nature of the business. So what is the nature of your business? Whoever's listening to this, really think about those things. We have high ticket service items, right? Our average client is around $2,000 to $2,500 a month. We have clients above that, we have clients below that. And our average duration is 30 months. That's a lot to be relied upon. Like, you can start planning out the next couple of years when you and I do. A big part to our success is how much effort and analysis we put into our projections. We had a pretty good idea of what we would do this year. We're a little bit shy of that pace right now, but I think we can make some changes to get there. But we didn't just pick a number out of a hat. I want to do 10 million this year. It's like, well, how are you going to get there? Well, I feel like I can. We don't base things off feeling. Now that we have enough data, we have a high ticket service, we have recurring revenue, it can help us project. Plus, ultimately, I think we solve a fairly big problem for businesses. A business growing is paramount to most businesses.
Very large problem,
right?
For businesses.
So, and ultimately, I am a big believer in the larger the problem you solve, the more money you can make, right? If you're selling little trinkets that aren't necessary, you may struggle a little bit more, or it may not be as advantageous as it could be in the future if you were solving big problems. Like, if you're providing a vehicle for somebody and they need to get from A to B, that's a big problem you're solving. Shelter, food, water, these are big problems. But for a business, marketing is like one of these necessities. Give me 100 businesses. Show me, categories: most successful, mid-level success, and lowest success. And I bet you the bottom category has either no marketing or very little understanding of marketing, or does these one-offs. The top category of those 100 businesses, I bet you they know a business plan. I bet you they have a robust marketing system, and I bet you they know exactly what it's doing. And that shows the importance of marketing to us. Certainly, outside of the high ticket service items, outside of the recurring revenue, we spend a fortune on marketing, and we're a marketing company, and we do marketing in-house and third party. This right now is third party, right? This is not in-house. These two whizzes over here. This is important enough for us to be visible, for us to show who we are, that we're spending one of the larger tickets, services in our marketing budget. It's, somewhere around 20% of our total budget. And it's, a few grand a month or a couple grand a month. So those were some of the things that I pointed out. What do you think has led to 7 figures, 2025? Actually, it was before 2025. So now we're just growing from here.
Yeah, having that omnipresence approach, just being there to our ideal demographic and showing up in a high value way, educating people, not asking for anything in return, just bringing value to people's lives, being kind, being a good human, but having that visibility and just constantly staying there. I think over time, you just get known, you eventually get liked, you become trusted. And from where we were to where we are today, now we have people that are reaching out via all different methods, social media. We get emails. We just had an email just the other day of somebody reaching out and saying, hey, I've heard of you guys. I'd like to know a little bit more about what you're doing. I get the magazine. I'd like to, explore the opportunities of, what does it take to, become a part of this. And sitting down and going through the approach, making sure that we're gathering the right information, holding them by the hand and leading from the front. And how we treat our clients is a big thing. It's one thing to have a high ticket service item and to have somebody for 30 months on average. But if we're not taking care of the clients, if we're not relationship first people, you're not going to get people renew, and then eventually it's going to deteriorate the reputation that we have. So it's super important. I think that's one of the reasons why we are going to continue the trajectory of where we're going, is because all of the clients who are behind us as we're leading from the front, we treat them right, we continuously educate them, and we also provide a service that solves a big problem and brings real results over time.
Yeah, and I think when we look at our paid ads, so people are clear, our budget is somewhere around 15 grand or 17 grand a month in marketing. That's what we spend. So we like to let people know that. We last year we did 2.4 million in total sales. So that was new sales and current recurring revenue with clients. This year we're projecting growth up to 3-ish, around there, 2.4 to 3. We're gonna do at least what we did last year. So again, that's new sales, total agreement length. So if we have somebody for 30 months and it's $2,500 a month, that's whatever, 30 grand a year, times 3 years, 90,000. So that would be a new sale, 90,000 for that year because it was sold that year. And then you include your recurring revenue clients. So somewhere between 2.5 and 3 million in totality is what we're shooting for this year. And of that $15,000 to $17,000 in total marketing budget per month, not per year, 80% of it is branding, 20% of it is lead generation. I mean, really, our podcast is a little bit of lead generation, but the more I learn about podcasting and what we do, how we work it and what the results it's provided for us, it's much more branding than lead gen.
Totally.
But we have lead gen ads on one platform, Facebook. That's it. And we spend a couple grand a month at most. And the amount of people that click on that ad that have say, hey, I've seen you guys here, I've seen you guys there. We can't say for sure yet how the branding is making those lead gen ads on Facebook convert. I can't tell you the exact number. If we didn't have branding, what would our conversion ratio be on Facebook ads? I can't tell you those exact numbers. But what I can tell you is that 40, 50% of the dozens and dozens and dozens of people that click on our very basic Facebook lead gen ads know us from something. They see us in the magazine. They see us on YouTube. They see us at the networking events. They see us on our podcast. They see us on social media. They've read one of our articles. 40 to 50% of the people that click. I click because we always ask that. What made you click? Some people are like, I like the visuals. I'm looking at marketing. But I know you guys, and I think I'm ready to take that next step.
I've heard of you before.
Right. And we don't ask the question when people ultimately come to us for the first time, what made you come see us? Or where did you see us before? Sorry. Where did you see us before? Like basically what ad did you click? If you're running a lead gen ad, you know exactly what ad they click. But if you're in magazines like we are, if you're on podcasts like we are, if you're writing educational articles like we are, long-term marketing like we are, 80 or more % of our stuff that runs constantly. All of that marketing I talked about runs constantly. Our lead gen ads, we turn on and off. We turned them off for 3 weeks. We had a little vacation that we went on, and then we had a seminar that we traveled for, and so we didn't want leads coming in, so you turn them on and off. But the majority of the people will say that they have seen us from something. And it allows for a much higher conversion, but it creates more value when they sit down with us, because there's already somewhat trust there. They at least know us. So knowing us leads to familiarity. Familiarity leads to they must be successful. And then ultimately you keep going up the rungs of the ladder and you get to trust. So when you say to somebody, listen, here's the problem that we're presenting, right? That we've identified going through our consultation by collecting all the information from you. This is the problem that we've identified. Would you agree with this? Yes, boom. Are you ready to start moving forward and hitting those growth goals that you're looking for? Yeah, great. It's $2,500 a month for all of this. It's not a massive shock to them. In the marketing world, $2,500 a month is actually quite small. Most agencies start at a retainer of $2,000 or $3,000 a month, and then you have ads on top of that in many, many cases. We are of a few companies that have one product, one price. We solve the entirety of your marketing problem if we can, which pretty much takes you A through Z, outside of lead generation, which we teach on, and it's not that hard to do. And that continues to run. So without that, will we be a 7-figure business? No, there's just no way. In addition to that, our back end has to be efficient. Could it get more efficient? Absolutely. I regularly tell you when we're analyzing something like, how good is our CRM right now? How good is our podcast workflow right now? How good is our AI setup right now? What do I normally say? I say like we're a 2 out of 10 or a 3 out of 10, which excites me. That doesn't say that we're shit. We're already doing well. We're already getting a good income and we enjoy our lives. But it shows the ceiling for opportunity is like, I mean, what's a 10 out of 10? $1 trillion business, $1 million business, you define it. But to us, we want to get to 8 figures. That's our goal, is to get to a $10 million company, maybe a team of 20, something like that in-house, probably some independent contractors outside of that. I'd love to do that before I'm 45, 38 right now. I think that would be, I think we'd make a pretty good impact at that rate. So maybe that's a 10 out of 10 for us. The point is that these things are working well for us right now. And the opportunity for growth is just, it's endless. It's really your imagination. As much as you can imagine, you could probably achieve to a certain degree. But systems, big. We systemize. We make as many things systematic as possible. And we talked about that before. Like everything from delivering the magazine to our team meetings, to our email campaigns, to even the courses we take them strategically to our meetings. Just about everything you can. The idea is not to go through every one of the points in our business that we make systematic. The point is how can you make your business systematic? How can you start dumping off some of those tedious tasks to AI, to a system, to a CRM, to another person?
Yeah, we hear it a lot in conversation with business owners. We talk about it on the podcast with some, we talk about it on air, off air. Talk about it when we're networking with others through conversation, that it's very difficult for a business owner who built this baby that they have, and now they care, it's their livelihood, they care so much about it, and the thought process is, well, I can't delegate that task because they're not going to do it as good as I would do it. When in reality, not giving that away, if it's done 5 to 10% less, maybe more, maybe less, than what it would be, they're actually still spinning their tires in the mud because they're not gaining time back. And I think that's one of the reasons why we've been able to be so successful, is that we've delegated the right things to focus on doing what we do best, which is get out there, meet new business owners, connect people together, onboard new clients, and then the most important is take care of the existing clients.
Building.
Right? And then building other systems. There's always the next rung of the ladder of what it is. Now we're building out an AI system that's going to do a lot of the communication for us based on the parameters that we want, and have it dumped right into our calendar for us. So we don't have to make those tedious phone calls out to leads that are inbound. You know, a business doesn't want to have 120 leads to call every single month. I'd rather have less, better quality. But even at that, regardless of the number, imagine not having to do that, how much extra time that gives back every single day to be able to focus on other tasks. And you always have stuff that's happening that you can't see. You have to put out fires, somebody needs something, you have to take care of a client, whatever the case is going on in any given business. Being able to get more time back, I think is crucial to being able to scale. If you're able to scale, you're able to grow, you give yourself that room for growth, and then ultimately that's where the dollars will follow that.
Last point I want to make on this, none of this would be possible if we didn't trust each other. We could build as many systems as we want, we could reinvest as much into the business as we wanted to. If we didn't have a trust for each other, if we tried to micromanage each other, if we checked every bill, every dollar, every receipt, every conversation, every transcript, I think you'll go crazy. I think your life would suck, first off. And I've lived a version of that, and it did suck. Finding good people to work with, you know, something purpose-driven, typically. I mean, that's what's worked for me. We talked about it a lot before. I don't think you need to have I want to make the world a better place to run a good business. I don't think you need that. It's certainly been better for us that we have a pretty strong why to doing this. And it's not just a side gig for us or just a paycheck. This really is a lifestyle. Between me, it's wealth, health, and relationships. I'm the same person in all three. They're all interconnected. A lot of the people in our business are our friends that we go out with and hang out with. It's all part of one life. We're just doing different things together with different objectives, solving different problems. So ultimately, all of this is important. If you have a really low ticket item that needs a lot of volume, there's strategies out there for it, and there's businesses that work, so you can make it work for sure. For us, it's more about that kind of intellectual and specialized approach to solving problems. There's not too many people out there that have the skill set we have, even with AI. I said intellectual. I'm looking at AI right now, and this is the intellectual brain of the world right now. So I don't know that intelligence is going to be such a high ticket offer anymore. The guys that I listen to, I mean, when the intelligence is right there, you could literally just ask it a question and it will give you a better answer than I could. But it can't market for me. And it can't, it can tell you what to do for your business, but it can't do it, at least yet. So we have that specialized skill set. The more specialized your skill set, I think the more you can charge for it. And then, check if it's an ongoing problem. Business won't stop needing to grow. Even for a business that doesn't want to grow. If you are in maintenance mode and you're doing the same revenue every year and inflation keeps going up, you're literally going backwards. You're on the decline. So every year you at least want to match that 5, 6, 7% inflation rate. So you need growth in some way just to maintain. Even if it's just a couple of percentage points. You do $1 million a year, you got to get to 1.1, 1.2, whatever it is, just to maintain your current revenue. So growth is always the objective. That never ends. That sets us up in a pretty good position to, sorry. I'm sorry. Leave this in. We have our video crew over here sneaking across the ground, and this is just real shit for you guys. He was very good about it, but he caught me.
I think you brought up a good point that not many people probably would think about. It's like, oh yeah, inflation's going up every single year, and even if I'm not looking to grow, there is still some growth that needs to happen in order to continue that flatline maintenance.
Yeah, so growth is always there. So, Hormozi talks about it a lot. What does he say? Consumable products, reoccurring products, and then forgetting the last word, but ultimately the revisiting rate of you needing that service is consistent. You need it regularly rather than these one-off things. Like you sell a house, great business. We know a bunch of great realtors, but what is that, a 10 to 15, 20-year cycle, something like that? So these things have been major components to our business. Yet for every successful one of us, there's hundreds of less successful ones. Certainly in our organization, the success rate is low. It's like less than 10%. So without trust, without work ethic, without these things, none of these all are going to matter. Ultimately, you need a lot of variables to have a successful business. But these are the main ones that we've noticed for us. High ticket service, recurring revenue. We solve a big problem that's ongoing. We systemize as many things as we can. We've hired good people. We hire coaches. We build as much in-house as possible. We also use third party. We spend a lot of money on our business and we're fine to do it. Actually, I'm regularly looking for new things to spend on without going nuts.
That's where I pull the reins back on you and say, whoa, everybody.
Yeah. We market like crazy. So people who are listening to this, like we talked about it before, being a practitioner, what you preach, we're a marketing company and we do a lot of things in-house. We're big believers of it. We wouldn't have what we have if we didn't market like crazy. It's one of our top priorities. Right up there. Customer service, our offer, marketing, all three equal value. But it's all rooted in trust and something that's meaningful to us, a purpose of some type.
And we will keep beating the shit out of that drum. And if you see this video now, and then you see us next year, and you see us the year after and the year after that, at some point, if somebody's following us along our journey, they're gonna say, okay, I'm not doing it. And these guys are just still going the way they're going. Like, maybe I should consider doing this, and looking around at other people, our clients, other people who are doing marketing within the local market and say, yeah, no, it works. You just have to have the right strategy for it and you will grow your business.